Hello and welcome to Game Launcher Creator V2. My name's Danny J. I'm the lead developer here at Bitebox Media. I thought I'd give you a hands-on introduction on getting acquainted with Game Launcher Creator V2. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly fire that up and we'll get into it. So what you need to do is you need to download the installer from the GameLauncherCreator.com website. If you log into your account, you should be able to go to orders and then click on the order number, and inside there will be the link to the downloader for Game Launcher Creator V2 and also your license key as well. So you can download the installer, put in the license key, put in your name and install Game Launcher Creator V2. Once you've installed it, it should create a desktop icon and a start menu icon, which will be in Programs, Bitebox Media, Game Launcher Creator V2. So once you've got it fired up, you'll be introduced to the welcome screen. So the welcome screen is handy because it has quick links to certain latest content that we've got, and also the latest tutorials that we have as well, and some interesting stuff to follow. But for this tutorial we don't need that, so we can close the welcome screen down and you're presented with the GLCV2 interface. So it's a full screen interface. It has to work in full screen. If you notice, if you try and minimize, if you try and restore the window, it goes full screen, and this is by design. This is so that you have a good big workspace to work with inside, and the same with the close button. That is disabled by design. If you want to exit, you simply do File and exit the software, or you can right click on the window and close from here. Okay, so pretty basic introduction is your file menu is up here, so you can click on any of these, and they're all pretty self-explanatory, but I'll guide you through what I can as we go through this. So what we're going to do today for this introductory tutorial is we're going to create, I'm just going to show you how easy it is to get acquainted with the dialogues inside Game Launcher Creator V2. So there's two options you can have here. You can do a new project, which gives you a selection of blank templates to work from. So there's nothing inside them, it's just a blank canvas. So you can, if you've got your own launcher design created in Photoshop or GIMP or whatever, you can use a blank canvas and you can start importing all your graphics in manually. Or if you don't have access to any of that stuff, then you can select a new project from a template. And the templates are quick and easy to get you up and running. You can still customize the template. So if you create a launcher project from a template, the template's just there to get you up and running. Once you've got the template loaded, you can then modify and change things and add new stuff and do what you want. So for this introductory tutorial, we'll go with the template, but there is another video that I'll link to in the description. And down below on this video on the page on the Game Launcher site, so you can check out how to import your own graphics if you need to. So we click on this, and what we do is we simply choose an installed template from here. Now this is where user templates go as well. As you can see, you won't have some of these. Some of these are just ones that I'm using to develop with. But for the sake of this tutorial, we'll choose the Swordcraft template. So we can type in my first launcher. So you put your project name in there. It can be absolutely anything that you want, and then just pop your name in there, so Danny J, and click OK. And Game Launcher Creator creates everything for you. That's the whole project set up now. So as you can see, you're presented with a nice clean interface. Now all these dialogues here are movable, so you can literally move them anywhere you want, create your own workspace environment to work with. I typically tend to keep pages and object tools to the right, launcher settings and the object inspector down here. Now you can even close these dialogues if you want, and if you want to get one back, you can just click on view and then get it back from the view menu. And this is your live launcher window here. So you can keep the live launcher window just like this in the center all the time, or what you can do is if you go to edit and preferences, you can choose a floating editor window. So what this does is, if we just reload the page, just another quick thing to note is if your pages don't show up here, just click on the R and it'll reload them. Same with the object inspector. If you click on R, it'll reload them. But yeah, so if we edit this page again, you'll now notice that the editor has this, so we can drag this about if we want to. So again, completely customizable interface for you to use. I'm going to switch that off for now because I don't actually need it, so I have to reload the editor to get it to do that. There we go. Alright, so basic overview of what everything does here. Here we've got the launcher properties dialog, so this is just quick access to all the kind of different settings for your launcher, such as the window title, the author. You can even change the window size in real time here. You can choose to have a taskbar up here. And then there's loads of different extra configurations. We're not going to cover most of these today because they are already covered on the website, so you can check out the documentation section when we're done. And there's also lots of video tutorials on there. This is the object inspector, so every time you insert a new button or a new text string or a new image, it will create a listing for that object down here, so you can keep track of the objects. So you can also rename as well. So as you notice, these, because it's come from a template, these are just like button 3, button 1. If you just right click on any of your objects, you get up a lot of options. So you can choose to show selected objects only, like that, or you can resize the graphics back to original. So basically what that means is if you change the size of the button, you can simply go here and resize to original and it'll put it back to its original size. You can delete objects, you can lock objects. Lock objects is good because sometimes you might be you might have a few graphics and you're accidentally clicking on them inside here, so you can lock that down. You can simply unlock it by doing that as well. You can delete the object, you can rename it. So for example, we could rename this now. We could just change it from button 3 and call it launcher button. You can see now it's called launcher button in there. And then you can get up the object properties as well, so the properties for this button. And this is all the same for all the images and everything else in there as well. So as you can see, we're using this template here. This is already pre-made. Now this here is an image, as you can see. So you can move that around, you can size it, you can basically do whatever you want with that. And just resize that back to original. Here we go. You can position it just by dragging it. So everything's pretty much drag and drop. You can drag things, you can resize it, do what you need to. And then these are the buttons. So if you're using a template like this, you've already got some buttons. If you want to insert a new button, you can click on this. And if you click on that, it'll put a default button in. So you can change the graphics on that by double clicking it and then choosing some new graphics here. You click on the button image and then choose a graphic from your computer. But again, it's entirely up to you. You know what, if you want to use your own graphics. If you don't want to use your own graphics, you can go over to our library button here, and you can see you get buttons, images, and videos. So if you click on buttons, for example, you can insert some buttons that are part of the library. But again, if you don't want to use that, you can simply just insert a button and then choose your own images, which will go here. You can use transparency with your images as well. So PNG 32 is supported, so you can use transparency. As you can see, you've got curved edges around this image because it's a PNG, so it's transparent. But I won't get too in depth with all that kind of jazz this morning. What I'll do is I'll just get you acquainted with what's going on around here, and then we can figure out. You can figure out all the rest of that kind of stuff once you get into the documentation section later on. So I'm just going to remove that button. So up here we have the object tools, so you can insert a new object into the launcher like you've just seen me do with a button. You can insert a video, a local image. So a local image is an image from your computer. If you want to insert a cloud image, that's an image from your website or your web server. So basically you can update the image on your web server and it will update in real time inside your launcher. You can insert text strings, web view to show web pages, cloud video as well as video, query strings, animated GIFs or static GIFs, and then the library. Again, all these individual components are all covered on the website. Check out the documentation. You just simply go to gamelaunchercreator.com/docs, or you can click on the support in the menu on the website and then go to documentation from there. And this is the pages. So inside the pages you have splash and main. Now these two are always here by default. This is your splash screen, as you can see here. So if you click on the splash screen, right click and select page properties, you can change the splash screen image, or you can uncheck this box and just not have a splash screen. Entirely up to you. And if you want to edit a page, you simply right click and edit, and it will load that page up. Now you can clone pages, so you can make a copy by selecting clone page, and it will make a new copy of that page, so you can edit it again. And then page properties here, just by right clicking. So basically, in the object inspector, you can get up all the actions for your objects by right clicking, and in the pages, you can get up all your actions by right clicking here. So the page properties. Now, what I've found over the years is a lot of people, when they're inserting a background into their launcher, they're using a local image. Now, I highly recommend that you don't do that because it's an object. You can accidentally click on it all the time. So if your background image is the full size of the launcher, you're going to keep clicking on it all the time. So when you want a background image for your launcher, go to the page properties and select image under background, and then you can just simply choose an image from your computer, and then you can't click on it accidentally because it's always there in the background. Right, so buttons. If you want to get properties up for any of the objects inside your launcher, you can simply double click on it inside the launcher. So you can see this image here has come up with the image properties, and from here you can position it on the X and Y coordinates. You can change the width, you can change the height, and you can change the layer. You can also change the image itself, and you can also enable image click, which basically means if the user clicks on the image, you can tell it to go to a website. So back to the buttons. So this is our launch button. Now, this is not a Minecraft video, by the way. This is just a standard launcher. It's just a Minecraft template, but it's not nothing. We've already got a Minecraft tutorial video which you can view in the documentation. So if you double click on launch to get up the properties, you can see here that you can change the images if you want to import your own button graphics. But we have a list of button actions here. So basically, you're telling Game Launcher Creator what you want this button to do. So you can get it to execute a game or an application. You can tell it to go to a web page. You can tell it to close the launcher, check for updates. You can choose to go to another page. So if it's another page button, like you might want to have buttons in so people can choose different pages, then you would simply just select that, and then in the main parameters you would choose which page to go to. You can do minimize launcher. You can toggle the music if you've got background music playing, which is over here in the launch properties. You can choose to have background music playing. And there's a whole host of other options, and again, all these are covered on the website under the documentation section. So what I'll do here for this introductory tutorial is just quickly show you what the common ones do. So execute game or app is really simple. If your launcher is going to be inside the folder where the game is, then you would simply type in the name of the executable, so that when the user clicks on launch, it will launch game.exe in the same folder. If it's in a subfolder, you can say that it's in a subfolder called game. Then you would simply type in game/game.exe. So it can work with subfolders as well. Then you have additional options here, like for example, close launcher upon action. So basically, when the user clicks the launch button, it will execute this, and then it will exit the launcher. If you uncheck that, then it will execute this, but it will keep the launcher running in the background. Go to a web page is pretty easy. Again, you select go to a web page, and then you type in the name of the web page that the launcher should open. And again, you have this close launcher upon action in case you want to close the launcher as soon as the user's clicked on that. Exit launcher is pretty self-explanatory. As you can see, this launcher doesn't have an exit button, this template. So let me just quickly show you how we can put in an exit button. So we simply click on button to put a default one in. Let's click on that, and then we click on button images up. And then on my computer, I can quickly find a close button, or an image. Now you can download images from the internet and use them if you want. So you can see it's inserted that now. So I'm going to use the same image for hover and click. And that's the image done. Now you can see it's a bit skewed inside there, but it's fine. We'll sort that out in a minute. So button action, we can now choose end launcher. So when the user clicks on this button, it's going to exit the launcher. So we can close that. And then what we can do is select the button, and this handle here, if we hover over it and grab it, you can see we can resize this button. Simply drag it there, and that's done. Click File, Save Project, and that's the project saved. So as you can see, this button now is the exit button. It will end the launcher. This button will launch an executable, so we'll tell it to do mygame.exe. And then you've got stuff like official forums. So again, go to our web page. I'm going to make this go to the game launcher forums. So it's gamelaunchercreator.com/forums. You don't need to click apply. The only time you need to click apply on your button is if you change any of these here. And yeah, literally it's as easy as that. That's pretty much it. Obviously you can change lots more different settings and whatnot, and you can check out the documentation. Also keep your eye out for these question marks here throughout Game Launcher Creator, because as soon as you click on one of them question marks, it will load up the help section online. So for example, launcher settings, if you click on this question mark here, it will load up the documentation for launcher settings. So it takes you straight to the section on the website that will help you with whatever bit you've clicked on. So if we click on the object inspector, it'll open up the documentation for the object inspector on our website under the documentation. So just keep your eye out for the question marks, because they will help. Also, another thing to note is if you look down here in the bottom right hand corner, you have some tooltips. So if you hover over stuff inside GLC, it will usually tell you what down here what it does. So if you can see the insert a button object has multiple properties. Insert a local video into your launcher, it will be packed with the launcher upon build. You know, so you've got all them as well. There's lots and lots of different ways you can get used to GLCV2, but as you can see, it's relatively easy anyway. You can also use this insert menu, so you don't have to use the object tools. You can use the menu insert to insert an object. And yeah, so just explore away and do what you need to do. When you want to build it, you simply go to File, Build Launcher. And as you can see, it's asking me for a launcher executable name. You can put anything you want in there. You click on Build. GLCV2 will build all of your launcher. It builds the launcher executable file, and it will build the data folder which contains all the images and buttons for your project. So when you want to give your friends your launcher, what you can do is you can select both of these files, all of these files, and then put them in a zip file, because you must make sure that you send the data folder as well as the launcher. Otherwise it'll just be a white screen because there's no data for it to load. So launcher.zip, as you can see, you can send that to your friends. Now if you want to be a little bit more professional, you can build your launcher into an installer. But again, I'm not going to cover that in this video because there's already tutorials for that. If you go to our Discord server and get verified as a user, you'll be able to access the tutorials channel there, which has links to videos showing you how to do stuff like putting your launcher into an installer. You can also pack all of this up into one executable as well, and again there's a tutorial for that on the website and on the Discord server once you've done it. So let's just quickly run this launcher so you can see how it works. There's our default splash screen, we didn't change, and there you go, you can see there's the launcher. So we have our launch button, forums, and all these other buttons. You can see how they're animated now with the 3 images that you assign. And if we click on this, it will close the launcher. So I'll just quickly show you how the other button works. So we're going to go to the forums. Now it's loading up on my other monitor, which I'm not filming here. So I'll just show you. I click forums and it loads up the GLCV2 forums. So you can see how easy it is to create a custom launcher with Game Launcher Creator V2. And again, what I recommend you do is check out the documentation section on our website. It has links to other tutorials. It has all the information about all the features inside Game Launcher Creator V2. And also don't forget to come to our Discord server for more support. Once you're verified as a user, you can get access to the tutorials channel in there. But yeah, you can always check out the website as well. All the tutorials are on there as well under the documentation section. So I wish you the best of luck with Game Launcher Creator V2 in whatever it is that you're doing, and I will see you on the Discord server.